Do you think that we need a meaning of life? And is there one for you?
Some people need a meaning of life as much as God, as they need God.
Yeah.
And I don't.
You don't need a meaning of life?
Or God. No. I haven't been baptized. I'm from a pagan country. I'm very proud of it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to find my own way. Meanings of life, they change completely, you know, depending on the mood, you know, and there are little tiny moments in time. It could be when you're hungry and you get the best, you know, when you haven't been eating in 4 days and you get the shittiest hamburger in front of your face. That could be the meaning of life at that particular moment. Or having sex or writing a great song. And that's enough, because I don't necessarily believe in linearity of time. Now we get to physics. So, you know, I believe in circular motion more than, you know, going from point A to point B.
You do?
Yeah.
Can I explain that?
Well, if you're thinking about all the deja vus and, you know, there's nothing new under the sun type of thing. I guess that, you know, the whole historical sense of it is just, you know, I consider this to be a big bang, more or less.
Yeah?
Yeah, we are. We don't go anywhere. We just are. But that's, you know, there's a lot of philosophical and scientific stuff on that. And I don't know enough about it. I don't necessarily believe it, but all of it. But it's just an interesting thing, right? I guess that it just would feel stupid to go from point A to point B, and, you know, serving somebody who doesn't exist, and basing your life around the hottest chick, the hottest car, and a lot of money. It would be just, for me personally, it would feel very empty to base my life around that. But for a lot of people, it does work, and you know, it's a different thing. You know, we are in a situation where we do have electricity, and we're sitting in this fancy room, and we don't have to worry about the next meal. So that has an effect on our possibilities of spending maybe too much time thinking about things that don't really matter.
Do you think that depression also follows from that?
There's various levels of depression, I guess, and various medical interpretations of depression. And depression is like love. There's no two loves alike, or two depressions alike. You know, depression can be caused by, you know, whatever childhood trauma, or it can be caused by, you know, substance abuse, or it can be caused by political, you know, crises within yourself, or religious, you know, problems. You know, it's always different when you're talking to people who are talking about getting out of their depression, whatever. You know, it's like a lot of people turn over to God. They need to do something very drastic to change their lives, and depression itself, you know, I guess that it's a tool as well. It means that something's wrong. It's like a flu. You know, when you work a lot and you don't have the time to suffer from flu, or you know how it is. You know, you work your ass off and then you have a weekend off, and you always become ill.
Yeah, I know.
I guess that's mentally more or less the same. And also, you know, the attention span is so short nowadays, and you get fed with so much information all the time. You don't have the time to really, as they say in America, decompress, like reflect upon all the material that you've seen. If you just, you know, watch TV for 8 hours in a row, there's so much stuff in there. You know, like, and especially those people who channel surf, or then incorporate internet there, incorporate your work and everything. You know, massive amounts of information go through your eyes and your ears and your brain all the time. And no wonder people can't, you know, they just break down, because your brain can't handle all that information, and most of it's shite anyway. So
I kind of agree, but on the other hand, in television, what I see these days is a lot of fake things. Nothing seems to be real anymore.
Well, but that's very depressing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because especially for young people, you know, or younger people, it can be really hard when you, especially reality TV life kind of thing. You know, it's so, most of it's pre-scripted, it's scripted, you know, and it's acted, and you can tell it from the angles and everything. You can't, you know, you can't document everything without having 7 zillion cameras everywhere. But so it's fake reality. But if people think that that's reality, then they're fucked. So that's the tough thing about it. It is like being in the zoo to a certain extent. You know, people just like it. They like going into zoo and watch dangerous things and apes that are very close to humans, you know, watch them from safe distance with cages in between.
Yeah.
There's just something weird about it. I don't know what. I don't watch TV at all.
You don't?
I watch movies, but on top, I like South Park.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, it's like I didn't like them at first so much, but they're so over the top, especially nowadays. Did you see the one with Bono?
No, I haven't.
Okay,
I
won't
haven't
tell
seen
you.
that one.
I won't tell you about it.
No?
It's a pretty new one. It's great, but it's so over the top. And they're laughing about it, you know.
Yeah, and they get away with it. I mean, the one that I loved was the one about terrorism, where they had
The
like Family Guy.
imagination was. Oh yeah, well, I guess I've seen. I don't know whether I've seen it, but there's a couple of things that cross the line a bit. But you know, it's always good to cross the line to see where you're at, especially when it comes to good and bad.
Yeah.
You know, so like the American National Association for Pedophiles. If you saw that, that's a pretty old one actually.
Was that with the panda? Sexual harassment panda?
No, I guess that was. I can't remember. It was from the same season, I guess.
Yeah?
But yeah, it was like Cartman was looking for more civilized adult companionship. He considered that his friends were too immature.
Yeah.
So he went onto the internet and started looking for mature companionship. You know, and he's like, I'm 5 years old and I'm looking for a mature, you know, friend.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously that, you know, that got the attention of the pedophiles. And then he became the poster boy for the pedophile association, which obviously doesn't exist. So they made like calendars out of it and stuff like that without Carmen actually realizing with whom he's like working with.
Yeah.
So that was kind of weird. But and also the one that I saw last night with all Catholic priests molesting kids.
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
That was like, that was kind of, you know, there's a lot of good in religion as well, so you should be, you know, kicking it all in the teeth.
No, the thing I like about South Park is that they tend to they tend to show both sides of the story sometimes.
Oh, sure.
And they don't really give their point of view, but they just laugh with it and they let you make up your own mind.
Well, in that sense, that's it is art what
Yeah.
they're doing, because it does evoke some emotions, negative or positive, and do raise some questions while you're laughing at it. And they raise a great question, you know, what's cool to laugh at?
Yeah.
Can you laugh at racist jokes? Can you laugh at handicapped people? Can you laugh at disasters?
Yeah.
I was just watching a documentary on the whole humankind being kind of weird in the sense that for example, when the tsunami hit Thailand, it was less than 24 hours, and then the stand-up comedians started making jokes out about it, which is kind of the human way of coping with the tremendous amounts of information you're fed all the time. The only opportunity to, or the only possibility to understand some of the pain, the massive universal pain that just happens all the time, everywhere in the world. There's so many sick things happening all the time, but you just gotta laugh about it.
True.
But there's certain lines, you know, I wouldn't cross.
Yeah.
You know, laughing about people who died in, you know, disaster. You won't see me doing like 9/11 jokes.
Yeah.
Besides, I did find it fairly funny that there was that, I don't know whether it was the only one, but there was one divorce happened because of 9/11. There was a married lady who called his husband, who was supposed to be working at the building, and he said, yeah, nothing's wrong, it's all good, it's all good, and he was just fucking his secretary, something like that.
Yeah.
I considered that to be fairly funny.
True.
Me too. While the buildings were falling down, but you know, that's a tough thing, and that's the good and bad, and that's the moralistic kind of a thing. You know, what do you find funny, and what you can digest and what not.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, but I think I need to leave you because otherwise you're going to be too late for your show, probably.
Well, whatever. You know, we still got a bit of time. There's some other interviews happening as well. I'm supposed to be buying a bass guitar as well, but I don't have the time to go into the shop. They're closing their doors at 6. So I'm trying to make it happen tomorrow. I found this really cool old 60s thing. Yeah. I've been looking at that for years, so it's pretty cheap. It's been modified, but still, it's very cool.
Yeah.
It's
awesome, but
it's very good.
I'm too scared of the people of the record label that they will cut off my head if I keep you too long.
Oh well, you know, they haven't been violent towards us, not yet.
not towards you.
Oh well, that's true. That's true. There's a few journalists we haven't seen after after the interviews have been done. So it might be that there is a graveyard, Warner Brothers graveyard somewhere in the outskirts of London, where they bury everybody they don't like.
Well, I hope you come visit and that you leave some flowers on my gravestone.
I've got my Ouija board, so I may be in touch with your soul.
Yeah.
Or the spirit form. I shall call you forth.
Awesome. I will answer.
Right on. Thank you for that.
Do we have a Ouija board?
Yeah, I got 2.
Awesome. Do you ever do that? I always wanted to do that.
No, I never done it. You know, there's A, I'm not interested.
No?
B, I want to know what I'm doing because you know some people do say that it does either subconsciously, depending what you believe in, but it would open up some things. So you don't want to do that wrong. But I bought 2 because my house where I live is supposedly haunted.
Really?
So I was thinking if there's a way to help the ghost out, if he's okay or not. I've heard that he's benevolent. He's a good ghost.
Yeah.
He's not doing anything wrong. But I was thinking if he wants coffee at 7 hours, or if he wants that house to be more warm, or if he likes some sort of music or some sort of films.
South Park.
You know, South Park maybe. But the thing is that since I'm Finnish, you know, all the Ouija boards done in America, so we lack the umlauts, we lack the as and and the weird letters. So I've been thinking of customizing my own Ouija board so Finnish ghosts can communicate in their own language, because we were speculating upon purgatory just being the place for souls who cannot communicate through Ouija boards because of their language. Imagine, for example, the couple of African tribes that do that. How can you translate that on Ouija boards?
Yeah.
So those people are going to be fucked, because when they're dead, first thing they're going to learn is to understand English, and that's kind of tough. Start learning, you know, new languages when you're in a spirit form.
Very true. Well, I think you find a new calling there. Like after him, you can start developing Ouija boards.
Well, you know, it was a great business back in the 50s and 40s. So maybe there's going to be a new rising of the in the Ouija board market, but we'll see. They're just really cool looking things, and I've got this one off the eBay that from really early 1900s. And the cool thing about it is it's got the letters and goodbyes and stuff like that. But the cool thing about it is it's got a black cat on one corner, a witch on one corner, David Star on one corner, and a swastika on one corner.
Really?
Yeah, and that was done before the time of Third Reich. And the time before Hitler. So, since in Nepal, for example, they've always used swastika as a symbol of good things and spiritual and eternal things, and they still use that as a symbol of the main bank and stuff like that. So it was just a really cool thing to actually have physically a very old, like 100-year-old piece of wood that is made for calling out spirits, and it's got swastika as well, and it's very intriguing, since you're, you know, obviously you're, you know, in your conscious mind, you know, swastika does evoke some negative feelings usually, rather than, you know, you might understand that it's the Nepalese thing, but the first thing you usually think about is the Holocaust.
True. Yeah.
So it was just an interesting piece of, you know, they had the company was called the Swastika Novelty Company. It was based, and they started 18 something. Yeah. So it's kind of weird. It's a weird combination that there was somebody in America using that symbol way before. Good old Adolf.
Good old. Okay, but I'm really going to leave you now.
Fair enough. Leave me in peace.
Yes. That's a good one to end with.
Right on.
Thank you, really.
Thank you, sweetie.
Good luck at this one.
Yeah, it's the last one. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'm homesick. I just want to go back home.
You are?
Yeah, obviously. You know, the ghost is missing me.
True. Well, have fun with the ghost.
I will. Not that kind of fun, though.
I wasn't thinking that for once. I wasn't thinking that.